what you're doing to yourself. You are literally addicting to yourself potentially something brand new that you will be addicted to for the rest of your life. And for what? Marginal gains. Because at the end of the day, this stuff is not even helping you build muscle. It's actually helping you not build muscle. He's claiming you can't use it if you're doing cardio. A lot of the stuff in this video doesn't make sense. Don't use it if you're doing cardio because it's vasorestrictive. But meanwhile, he's telling you to couple it with your pre-workout and go do heavy lifting. But don't use it when you're running. This guy, with all due respect, is a burden to society.
Or if you've got a history of addiction, I wouldn't touch it.
He also mentioned don't use it if you have a history of addiction. You can literally just get addicted now. And you're starting your history of addiction now. This guy's literally claiming that he hit a lifetime PR and it was all because of the nicotine. This dude has no clue what the hell he's talking about. If you think something as small as nicotine, guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy and excited to be here today. I got a whole backlog of videos that I'm working on for you guys, and most of them are requests. So feel free to leave your request if you have one in the comments. And thanks everybody for the support on this channel. The support on this channel, the love, the kind words, and even the negative or the neutral stuff. All amazing. Really appreciate you guys. We've been really ramping it up on this channel lately. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit like, try to help us over here. We're a small channel. It means the world to us, and it costs nothing to you. We got a request to do a video last night, in fact, right before I went to bed. One of my amazing subscribers over here on the channel ended up hitting me up and asking me to do a video, do a response to a video by somebody called Tanner Shuck. This gentleman has 315,000 subscribers, so he's got to be doing something right. According to his photograph on YouTube, the guy looks huge, jacked, and probably in incredible shape, which is why it was shocking to this subscriber that he would actually put a video out talking about Zyn. Not sure if you guys are familiar with what Zyn is. Zyn apparently is a nicotine pouch, an alternative to tobacco that just contains nicotine.
People I know that take, they're these pouches that come in canisters. I've never tried them, I don't want to. Those are generally 4 to 8 milligrams of nicotine per pouch. I hear over and over again that people take one, they love it, take one pouch. They then will do 2 a day, 3 a day, and pretty quickly they're consuming a canister or so, if not every day, every couple of days.
Okay. Now, this video that we're going to be checking out today, I've never seen it before in my life, is called The Most Controversial Performance Enhancer Yet. And apparently, it's going to be speaking something along the lines of how nicotine can be used in a performance-enhancing way, similar to maybe caffeine or other stimulants in general.
This isn't an ad. I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm just sharing what I've been doing and what's worked for me. Although, I'm anxious to try out this new brand called Athletic Nicotine. And if you're willing to sponsor me, let's talk.
So not really sure what to expect here, but let's dive in and find out.
12 months ago, I never touched this stuff. Nicotine, that was for smokers, right? Something I thought was poison in a Marlboro box or a Copenhagen can. But that all changed last summer after working out again with my old college football teammates, Scott and Andrew. They both went on to have successful careers in the NFL. And after they both crushed me in our workout, I said, "Are you guys taking something?" They said, "Like steroids?" And I said, "Yeah." Their response, "Nah, man, it's just nicotine. Try a pouch before your next workout. It hits different."
All right, off the bat, I don't know if this guy's going to... I don't really know the direction that this video is going, to be honest with you guys. But this dude just said that he trained with some of his buddies and that a few months ago, he would never have touched nicotine in his life. But then he trained with some of his buddies who were successful, right? Notice he mentioned successful. So everybody who watches this is going to be like, oh, successful people like getting addicted to nicotine. And again, I don't know where he's going with this, but essentially, this seems like an ad. This seems like an advertisement. And I can't make that judgment yet because I have not watched the full video. But I can tell you, As someone who has been addicted to nicotine throughout his life, cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, what else? Snuff, which is a little different than chewing tobacco, nicotine gum, a whole bunch of stuff. I can tell you that if this guy never thought in his life that he would have touched nicotine, but now he has, I have to say, I think he probably made one of the biggest, worst mistakes of his life.
So on our workout the next day, I tried it with them. And damn, they were right.
Now, I'm not against people who enjoy tobacco or against people who enjoy nicotine. I'm not against them because I understand where they're coming from, because I have in the past myself, right? But part of the problem with nicotine is, and you guys might have guessed it, highly, highly, highly addictive.
If you're quitting Zyn, just a few things to expect: anxiety, insomnia accompanied by vivid dreams, potentially increased blood pressure or irregular heart rate and irregular heartbeats, brain fog, like your brain is probably just going to feel like a pile of mush for a few days, excessive sweating, muscle pain, potentially accompanied by tingling sensations in your skin, your hands, your feet, your extremities, stomach problems, potentially accompanied by constipation, headache, and last but certainly not least, a raspiness, almost like an itch throughout the back of your throat. A lot of people say like, oh, Zyn is harmless, but like I would challenge you, quit for a few days and see what your body feels like so you get an actual gauge of what it's doing to you.
Not only is it highly addictive, it's very expensive. Something else that I don't particularly like to hear, because I don't agree with it, is the fact that this gentleman is telling us that his friends who were doing so great, they were not on steroids, they were on nicotine, and that's why they were doing it so well. Let me tell you right now, that's a bunch of crap. That's a bunch of crap. Why can I tell you that? Well, first of all, I've experienced nicotine throughout my life. Second of all, I've never used Zyn, okay? But it's a more concentrated, tobacco-free version of nicotine. So you're getting all the quote-unquote great effects of nicotine, if you consider getting addicted to a highly addictive substance, great effect. You're getting addicted to this stuff without the tobacco. But this stuff is not a miracle. Let me tell you, I will be the first one to tell you, it is not a miracle. You will be just as good, just as alert with a cup of coffee. And that's addictive too. So you could go ahead and buy that and spend your money on that. I guess it's kind of in the same realm if you want to get addicted to something, but very likely, guys, you take caffeine already. Very likely. So if you already take caffeine, in my opinion, why the hell are you going to get yourself addicted to something else when you could just stick to the caffeine? It's going to do the same damn thing.
Try a pouch before your next workout. It hits different. I laughed and said, isn't that shit in tobacco and terrible for you? They said, yeah, but nicotine isn't bad for you. It's all the other shit they put in tobacco products that's bad for you.
This guy's ripped and he's jacked. So when you see this guy picking up a Zyn pouch and putting it in your mouth, I'm telling you, this is like a commercial. It's like a commercial. You're gonna relate this guy, oh, this guy's accomplished, he looks cool, whatever, to the Zyn pouch now. You'd be like, oh, I want to be like him, so I'm gonna try Zyn. Let me tell you, he looked like this before the Zyn, just in case you didn't know. And second of all, what his buddy said about, oh, nicotine isn't bad for you, it's the tobacco part that's bad for you. He's right to a large degree, but I can tell you off the top of my head that nicotine separated from the tobacco is not necessarily good for you. It can cause things like high blood pressure. I don't know if this guy's aware nicotine in certain studies that they've done in the past. I've looked this stuff up in the past because I'm like, you know, I've trained my whole life and I've been addicted to substances my whole life. So I can tell you that this stuff, nicotine in general, can actually slow down the process of protein synthesis, essentially, where you're slow down the process or halt the process to a degree when it comes to protein synthesis, so you're not building as much muscle as you typically would. And it also can lead to things like high blood pressure and other things like that. So it's not like nicotine itself is completely free of problems. No, that's not true. That's not the case. He basically just said that was the case. It's not true. So just keep that in mind moving forward. There's a lot to this that doesn't seem to be spoken about. It's a pretty short video, so he's probably not going to get into it, but that's what I'm here for.
Which made me think, So on our workout the next day, I tried it with them. And damn, they were right. Before we go any further, let's get clear on what nicotine actually is and what it's not. Nicotine is a natural alkaloid found in tobacco plants. That's right, it's a plant compound, not some evil chemical whipped up in a meth lab.
Well, he's right. He's right. It's not some evil chemical whipped up in a, meth lab or whatever. But it's very similar to caffeine, right? They both end in "ine." They're both stimulants. They both will help blunt your appetite. They will both give you some focus and some energy. But again, guys, this stuff is highly, highly addictive. And I don't know how much this stuff costs, this Zyn stuff, but it's probably not necessarily cheap. So just remember, you're experimenting with, I guess you would call it a pre-workout here. That's going to give you marginal gains. I promise you, it is going to give you marginal, at best, focus. Marginal. And there's a reason for that I will get to later in the video. Initially, you might feel, oh, I'm amped. I'm ready to roll. I'm focused. But again, there is a drawback, and we'll talk about that shortly.
For centuries, Native American tribes used tobacco leaves in rituals, ceremonies, and medicine. It wasn't until the Industrial Revolution, when cigarettes got mass-produced and marketed like candy, that nicotine got tied to cancer, addiction, and death.
Now he's giving us the history on cigarettes, nicotine, tobacco in general, saying that this plant, just like coffee is a bean, nicotine is a plant, cocaine comes from plants. That's natural too, until it's processed. But you know what I mean. People used to eat the plant because it would do cool things for them. It was a stimulant, right? So now he's giving us the history behind it. And I believe he's trying to, at this point in time, it would appear to me that he's trying to undemonize and separate the nicotine from the tobacco. So I don't really know what his goal behind this video is, but at this point in time, it just seems like he's trying to addict people to a highly addictive substance that you very well might now continue to be addicted to your entire life.
Hey you guys, just in the middle of editing, and I just wanted to point out that I'm not being overdramatic when I say that you can be addicted to nicotine for your entire life. All it takes is a couple of uses of nicotine in general, no matter what it's from, whether it's from Zyn, cigarettes, cigars, it doesn't matter. It only takes a couple of uses for you to become addicted to for life. And I just want to point out that you might be in favor of nicotine's cognitive or whatever abilities for you. You might be in favor of that, but I guarantee you, if for some reason you cannot get your hands on that particular form of nicotine, the Zyn, for example, if you cannot get your hands on it, I promise you, you will be walking to your nearest store and buying a pack of cigarettes in order to get your fix if you cannot find the initial way that you started using it.
I gotta crush this YouTube video, so I'm actually gonna put in a pouch.
Notice he said he has to crush this YouTube video, so he's going to put in a pouch. This is going to be very important for later. Wait till later.
Modern nicotine, it's pure, derived cleanly, delivered in gums, patches, sprays, or pouches, like Zyn or Velo. No smoke, no lungs, just the compound itself doing its thing. Like I said, I never gave nicotine a second thought until my buddies told me about it.
I don't like the fact that he's just blatantly glorifying this stuff. He's showing B-roll of him popping it in his mouth and all this other crap. It's unnecessary. He's trying to turn this into like an exciting, motivating video. And bro, this ain't the substance to be talking about. Are you getting paid by this company? Are you getting paid? It would not surprise me. This looks like an ad. He's going over the top. I don't know if he's getting paid or not. But let me tell you, this comes across as an ad. And why do people do ads? Because they're getting paid. I can't tell you he's getting paid, but this is not a normal video to be doing something on in this fashion, in my opinion.
Like I said, I never gave nicotine a second thought until my buddies told me about it. They were both beasts on the field and in the weight room. Explosive as hell, locked in, and had motors that never stopped. I asked them both what they were doing differently now versus back in college. And they said, Tanner, just quit being a pussy. Try a 3 milligram pouch with your pre-workout next time. Trust us. So I did, and holy shit, I felt it. Not like a caffeine high, not jittery, just this clean mental tunnel vision with a little mood boost. I trained harder, longer, and I actually enjoyed the workout more, not dragging myself through it. Just dialed in with laser focus. Said, Tanner, just quit being a pussy. Try a 3 milligram pouch with your pre-workout.
All right, so his friends apparently wimp, essentially, and try it with your pre-workout. So this is some high school-esque, like, peer pressure right here. I don't know how old this guy is, but he's mentally, with all due respect to the man, he seems pretty young up here. I don't know.
Just dialed in with laser focus. So here's how I've been using it for the last year. Maximum 4 to 8 pouches per week, not per day, per week. And definitely not every single day.
So now he's telling you that when he uses it, it's strategic, right? It's strategic. I only use it 4 to 8 times a week, only on certain days. I stack it with this and that. Let me tell you something about nicotine. That's the way it starts. Nobody on earth, I'm going to go on a limb here and say when you're addicted to something, you look for excuses to use it, because I have been addicted to many substances in my life, and I'm still addicted to many substances. Caffeine being the primary. When something is a mood enhancer, you want to use it more. So him claiming that he uses it strategically, I guarantee you there's zero doubt in my mind that he is not telling you the truth. This guy uses them the minute he wakes up to the minute he goes to bed. That's my personal opinion based on being an addict myself. His friends apparently told him to stop being a...
I stack it with coffee or my pre-workout right before or during my training session. Occasionally, if I'm deep in work late in the day and I don't want more coffee, I'll toss in a dip and get shit done. As a tool.
No, I don't believe this guy at all. He's claiming he doesn't fiend for it when he wakes up. Bro, you are not beyond humans. You are not beyond other human beings, okay? Don't tell me it's willpower. When you're addicted to something, you're addicted to something, okay? Sure, willpower exists. But the fact that he went out of his way to say...
And it's not like I'm fiending for it the second I wake up.
I'm not addicted to it when I wake up, leads me to believe that he absolutely is. And I promise you that if he wakes up and he's convinced himself that he's not addicted, he is going to look for the first excuse to use one as fast as possible.
I gotta crush this YouTube video, so I'm actually gonna put in a pouch.
Because that's what addiction does. Oh, just woke up, don't really need that Zyn, but I have to work and I have to crush it. So, I might as well pop one. This is a very disturbing video. I haven't seen something this irresponsible in a very long time, let me tell you.
It's not a crush, and it's not like I'm fiending for it the second I wake up. I use it as a tool, just like creatine, caffeine, or beta-alanine. I use it with intent, or I don't use it at all.
No. He said, I use it like a tool, like creatine, beta-alanine, or whatever, or caffeine. Huge difference in tools, guys. Creatine is a non-addictive substance. This tool is addictive. Huge difference in the types of tools we're talking about here.
So let's break down what I've personally experienced and what the science backs up. Increased focus and mental energy. I've noticed sharper thinking, and it's especially helpful on low sleep or long work days. My mood, I just feel better, more upbeat, more present. Appetite control, it makes a subtle difference, but it is effective when I'm cutting. If I need to restrict calories but I'm hungry, I'll take a pouch and it reduces my hunger cravings. But what I use it mostly for is workout performance. I've noticed increased focus, increased training intensity, and just the other day, I hit a lifetime PR of 5 sets of 5 back squats at 405.
This guy's literally claiming that he hit a lifetime PR and it was all because of the nicotine. This dude has no clue what the hell he's talking about. If you think something as small as nicotine, a nicotine pouch that is made for like a slower release of nicotine throughout the day, because this is not like a cigarette. If you smoke a cigarette or you take like chewing tobacco, those things are made to hit you hard and fast. This stuff will hit you relatively fast because you're putting it in your gum and it's going across the blood-brain barrier very quickly. It's going to be absorbed relatively quickly, but it certainly ain't going to be like you put it in your mouth and you're going to be like, boom, oh, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, claiming that this is the reason you hit your lifetime PR, bro, I don't even know what to say about this. We got people glorifying steroids all over the internet. I guess this guy just really needed content and didn't want to glorify steroids and decided to glorify something else that's equally bad, in my opinion.
After more research, I found out nicotine actually does a ton of good shit for your brain and body, such as neuroprotection, cognitive enhancement, ADHD symptom relief, ulcerative colitis relief, weight and appetite control, post-surgery recovery and pain management, and potential long-term COVID relief.
All right, I don't know anything about these claims that he's saying. He's saying it's neuroprotective, offers cognitive enhancement, helps you if you have ADHD, ulcerative colitis relief, weight and appetite control. That I know is true. Weight and appetite control, absolutely. Even the cognitive enhancement, absolutely, I can understand that. Certain things I can see. Other things that he's talking about, I have no clue. So I would have to do research on that. And you got to hope that he did his research correctly on that. But I have to say, there's lots of ways to control your appetite and your weight. And many of those ways don't involve becoming addicted to an addictive substance.
That was all straight from ChatGPT.
This is, okay, I'm not telling you that ChatGPT was wrong in this case, but I can tell you for certain there's a reason why there's a disclaimer when you type something into ChatGPT. That is because ChatGPT and every other AI that's out there is wrong a lot of the time. And even if it's not wrong, it may not be as nuanced as it needs to be in order to give you a well-rounded idea of what's going on, what your research is.
But if you still don't believe me, podcast gurus Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Peter Attia have both spoken about the benefits of nicotine. So you can probably believe them because, they're doctors and not just some dumbass meathead like me.
Now I see where he's coming from. He's looking at these other accomplished gentlemen, Andrew Huberman and this other gentleman here, claiming that it's because of people like this that I can make the video that I'm making. No problem, we'll talk about it later.
Now, don't get it twisted. Nicotine does have a dark side. It's extremely addictive and that's nothing to fuck around with. The dopamine hit from nicotine is real. I feel buzzed right now filming this YouTube video. It can raise blood pressure and heart rate, and it is also a vasoconstrictor, so I never use it when I'm doing intense cardio sessions. So if you've got heart issues, stay the hell away from nicotine. Or if you've got a history of addiction, I wouldn't touch it.
If you got heart problems, stay away from it. But meanwhile, you're telling people to use it in conjunction with your pre-workout under the heavy stress of training. This guy's a goddamn genius. He's a genius.
Most of the stigma around nicotine comes from cigarettes, chewing tobacco, or vape pens. And yeah, those are shit and terrible for you. So if you smoke or chew, I think you're a dumbass.
Listen, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Nicotine, tobacco, vape pens, chewing tobacco, yeah, they're all garbage for you. They're poison. They're literal poison. But you are in the same breath telling people to literally addict themselves to something they don't need in their life. And he also mentioned, don't use it if you have a history of addiction. You can literally just get addicted now. And you're starting your history of addiction now. This guy, I don't know what his other content is like, but in my personal opinion, because this video is all opinion based, right? He ain't that bright.
But just straight nicotine used in small amounts, that's a completely different story. Still, know the risks and know yourself.
Saying nicotine used in very small amounts is a completely different story. That's your opinion, bro. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion. But this guy, if you want to use this as a cognitive enhancer, bro, yo, listen, you do what you want with your life. I've said it a million times on this channel. If y'all want to go take steroids, go ahead and take steroids. But don't go telling other people to do it and glorifying it and lying to people about it. Now, he's not necessarily lying in this video. He's telling you there's a good side and a bad side. But there is, I believe, a point where people need to learn to shut up and just do certain things for themselves. You don't have to tell the world everything that you're doing. And this is one of those things that I don't believe he needs to be telling the world that he's doing. This is a very irresponsible move, in my opinion. And personally, I believe that this video should be flagged so that kids can't see it. I don't know if it is or not. Maybe it is. But I can't even believe I'm watching something like this.
So, is nicotine worth it? For me, I enjoy it. I'm in a better mood, focus harder, and I train better when I use it strategically.
Yeah, he's saying he's in a better mood, he works hard, he trains harder when he uses it strategically. Meanwhile, with all due respect, guys, he could not go through a YouTube video without taking it because he needed to crush the YouTube video. And that's wherein lies the problem. What happens is when you take an addictive substance, whether it's caffeine, nicotine, whatever it is, any addictive substance, what happens is you get a major dopamine hit. Your brain gets flooded with dopamine, and now you're associating that feeling of being high off of dopamine with the chemical compound that this gentleman is talking about. Or what anybody's using, right? Whatever gave you that feeling. Your body now associates that item with that feeling. Unfortunately, what happens is in the beginning, like even in a relationship, things are great. Things are fantastic. Things are beautiful. Oh yeah, this person makes me feel great. I love being with them. They make my whole life better, blah, 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 blah. Until a few months down the road, now all of a sudden things start to change. When it comes to addictive substances like nicotine or caffeine or anything, you become dependent, and therefore you end up getting to a point where you don't want to do what you need to do without it. You literally wake up and go to sleep and constantly need more and more and more of that substance in order to get the same effect. Think about your pre-workout. When this guy first discovered pre-workout, he probably felt the same exact way as when he started his nicotine pouches. Oh, I feel great, I feel amazing, cognitive enhancement and all that stuff. But now his pre-workout ain't doing the same thing.
And that's actually a very sinister function of dopamine, we could say, which is that it can often drop in imperceptible ways, but then once it reaches a threshold of low dopamine, What used to work doesn't work anymore. So it starts to look a lot like the more severe addictions or the more acute addictions to things like cocaine and amphetamine.
Rather than needing 1 scoop like he used to need, now he needs 2 scoops. Now he needs 3 scoops because it's not doing the same thing. And very likely, before he wants to make a YouTube video, he probably wants a couple of scoops of pre-workout. If you think caffeine is bad, wait till you try nicotine. Wait till you try it. It is way better than caffeine, let me tell you. And now that he's combining mentally back here in your brain, you don't realize it's happening, but now that he's combining pre-workout with the nicotine, that is now the new level of which this guy is going to want to be at from now on.
You should be very careful about allowing yourself to experience huge peaks in dopamine unless you're willing to suffer the crash that follows and waiting a period of time for it to come back up. What would this look like in the practical sense? Well, let's say you are somebody who really does enjoy exercise. Or let's say you're somebody who kind of likes exercise but forces yourself to do it, but you make it pleasureful by giving yourself your favorite cup of coffee first, or maybe taking a pre-workout drink, or taking an energy drink, or listening to your favorite music, and then you're in the gym and you're listening to your music. That all sounds great, right? Well, it is great, except that by layering together all these things to try and achieve that dopamine release, and by getting a big peak in dopamine, you're actually increasing the number of conditions required to achieve pleasure from that activity again. And so there is a form of this where sometimes you do all the things that you love to get the optimal workout. You listen to your favorite music, you go at your favorite time of day, you have your pre-workout drink if that's your thing. You do all the things that give you that best experience of the workout for you. But there's also a version of this where sometimes you don't do the dopamine enhancing activities. You don't ingest anything to increase your dopamine. You just do the exercise. You don't do the exercise and expect dopamine to arrive through some what we call exogenous source as well. People do, however, and that's what we call addiction. When somebody pursues a drug or an activity that leads to huge increases in dopamine, and now you understand that afterward the baseline of dopamine drops because of depletion of dopamine. Addiction is a progressive narrowing of the things that bring you pleasure. So oftentimes what will happen is the person only has excitement and can achieve dopamine release to the same extent doing that behavior and not other behaviors. And so they start losing interest in school, they start losing interest in relationships, they start losing interest in fitness and well-being, and depletes their life. And eventually what typically happens is they will stop getting dopamine release from that activity as well, and then they drop into a pretty serious depression.
But it's going to start off just like with the pre-workout, 1 scoop, 1 pouch, now 2 pouches, now 3 pouches. He's claiming he uses it strategically. He's claiming he uses it as a tool, which it can be used in all these ways, just like caffeine. It can. He is not lying. But I am telling you right now, the marginal enhancement you get is not worth the major addictive reality of what you're doing to yourself. You are literally addicting to yourself potentially something brand new that you will be addicted to for the rest of your life. And for what? Marginal gains. Because at the end of the day, the stuff is not even helping you build muscle. It's actually helping you not build muscle. Something else that I wanted to bring up is the fact that Dr. Huberman has done many videos on dopamine release and why people are not motivated.
If you take something or do something that leads to huge increases in dopamine, afterward your baseline should drop because there isn't a lot of dopamine around. And that's what we call addiction. When somebody pursues a drug or an activity that leads to huge increases in dopamine, and now you understand that afterward the baseline of dopamine drops, dopamine is literally not around to be released, and so people feel pretty lousy. And many people make the mistake of then going and pursuing the dopamine evoking, the dopamine releasing activity or substance again. And we've seen this over and over again. When people get addicted to something, then they're not achieving much pleasure at all. You even see this with video games. People will play a video game, they love it, It's super exciting to them. And then they'll keep playing and playing and playing. And so they start losing interest in school. They start losing interest in relationships. They start losing interest in fitness and well-being, and depletes their life. And eventually what typically happens is they will stop getting dopamine release from that activity as well. And then they drop into a pretty serious depression. Somebody who is really good at working during the week, they exercise during the week, they drink on the weekends. Well, that person is only consuming alcohol maybe 1 or 2 nights a week, but they're eating foods that really evoke a lot of dopamine release in the middle of the week. They're drinking 1 or 2 days on the weekend. They're going out dancing once on the weekend. Sounds like a pretty balanced life as I describe it. Well, here's the problem. You'd say, well, it's just on the weekends, or this thing is only a couple times a week. If you looked at dopamine simply as a function, as a chemical function of peaks and baseline, what's happening is they're spiking their dopamine through so many different activities throughout the week that their baseline is progressively dropping. And in this case, it can be very subtle. It can be very, very subtle. And that's actually a very sinister function of dopamine, we could say, which is that it can often drop in imperceptible ways, but then once it reaches a threshold of low dopamine, we just feel like, we can't really get pleasure from anything anymore. What used to work doesn't work anymore. So it starts to look a lot like the more severe addictions or the more acute addictions to things like cocaine and amphetamine, which lead to these big increases, these big spikes in dopamine, and then these very severe drops in the baseline.
Dr. Huberman has done many videos on dopamine release and why people are not motivated, why they're not motivated in order to live their lives, not motivated to do the laundry, not motivated to take a shower, not motivated to train, not motivated to find a partner and create a family and things of that nature. If you watch his 4-hour videos or whatever they are, you will find out the reason why is dopamine. Dopamine. The same thing that nicotine releases. It's dopamine. So I've never seen his videos on nicotine, but I can tell you that in his videos regarding not having a will to live or having any motivation or drive, the culprit is literally dopamine. Fast, quick hits of dopamine. Opening up your phone, opening Instagram, getting that hit of dopamine, closing it. You're getting hit with dopamine all day, so you become desensitized. And at a certain point in time, you can't get enough, so you're opening your phone and it's not doing anything for you anymore. This is literally what this doctor has spoken about in the past. It's the same principle behind the goddamn nicotine. So you people need to understand this. This is nothing to play around with. People who are on less highly addictive things are doing not too great. Imagine introducing something as highly addictive as this into your life. But it's going to start off just like with the pre-workout, 1 scoop, 1 pouch, now 2 pouches, now 3 pouches. He's claiming he uses it strategically. He's claiming he uses it as a tool, which it can be used in all these ways, just like caffeine. It can. He is not lying. But I am telling you right now, the marginal enhancement you get is not worth the major addictive reality of what you're doing to yourself. You are literally addicting to yourself potentially something brand new that you will be addicted to for the rest of your life. And for what? Marginal gains. Because at the end of the day, the stuff is not even helping you build muscle. It's actually helping you not build muscle if you're using it for bodybuilding like he seems to be doing. He's claiming you can't use it if you're doing cardio. A lot of the stuff in this video doesn't make sense. Don't use it if you're doing cardio because it's vasorestrictive. But meanwhile, he's telling you to couple it with your pre-workout and go do heavy lifting. But don't use it when you're running. This guy, with all due respect, is a burden to society. Your new normal, once you get addicted to this stuff, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it because I guarantee you if he's telling the truth, which I don't believe he is, you're going to wake up thinking about this stuff. You're going to go to sleep thinking about this stuff. And with nicotine, it is, in my opinion, and in fact, I do believe I read this somewhere a long time ago, so don't quote me on it. It's more addictive than cocaine. And it's more easily accessible. So very easy to get. Very easy to get your fix, of which you will need. Very irresponsible video.
Just don't go overboard, don't be an idiot, and don't start unless you've got your mind right. And no, this isn't an ad. I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm just sharing what I've been doing and what's worked for me. Although, I'm anxious to try out this new brand called Athletic Nicotine. And if you're willing to sponsor me, let's talk. Which reminds me, if you want the highest quality supplements and training gear, check out Transparent Lab Supplements and Barbell Apparel. Click the links in the description where my discount. To try out this new brand called Athletic Nicotine. And if you're willing to sponsor me, let's talk.
So now at the end of the video, I'm not being sponsored, but if you want to go ahead and sponsor me, Athletic Nicotine, so we see he's not the only guy jumping on this train. Listen, everybody's got a right to their opinion. Again, I don't hate on people who love nicotine. If you want nicotine or you want to use these pouches, hey, it's all good. I got no problem with you guys doing that. I do, however, have a problem with things like this. This was essentially an unpaid, according to him, advertisement. And now he's trying to gain some type of notoriety with this other athletic performance and company. When you use nicotine or any addictive substance, your new normal is not the same. So I promise you, if he ever tried to stop using it, he would no longer want to go to the gym. If for any reason it didn't give him enough of a high, he would no longer want to go to the gym. He would no longer want to do his YouTube videos. He would no longer want to go to work and crush that, whatever he's crushing. That's what it does. It will literally suck the goddamn joy out of your life.
It can be very subtle. It can be very, very subtle. But then once it reaches a threshold of low dopamine, you just feel like, we can't really get pleasure from anything anymore. What used to work doesn't work anymore. And then they drop into a pretty serious depression.
It will suck the joy out of your life because essentially what it's doing is it's replacing your natural joy, your natural dopamine release, your natural high, your vigor of life. It's replacing it with a chemical substance. I don't care if it's natural or not. It doesn't matter. It's replacing it. Imagine your happiness comes from training. If you start this stuff, your happiness will no longer come from the training. It will be coming from the stuff. And in order to do the training, you need to take the stuff. It's the same as pre-workout, except it's way worse. So this was a very irresponsible video. In fact, I remember seeing a video a long time ago, now that I think about it, where this gentleman talks about how snuff or something along those lines, it may have been this even exact same product, destroyed his life. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I really hope this information helps. Again, listen, if you guys want to take this stuff for performance enhancement, I have zero issues. Just like I don't care what you people do with your bodies in general. Everybody, if you're an adult and you're making a well-rounded decision, you guys do you. But this was an advertisement, essentially, unpaid, according to him, and I just don't believe it's responsible. There's certain things that you can share and certain things that I believe you shouldn't share. Does he have a right to share it? Of course he does. This is just my opinion. You got guys talking about worse things on the internet, to be honest with you. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh on the guy, but I have to say, as somebody who has literally been addicted to substances his entire life, I don't think this was a responsible move. I think this was a very irresponsible move, in fact. There's a reason why tobacco companies no longer are allowed to promote their product on billboards and on television. Last time I checked, unless something changed. Because it is a highly addictive and damaging product. Now, while this nicotine stuff might not be, as damaging because you're not smoking it. It doesn't have all the other chemicals. While it may not be as harsh on your body in certain respects, it can be an absolute nightmare on your mind, your mental health, and your emotional health, because you are addicting yourself to dopamine. And when you don't have enough of those pouches in the day in order to make yourself feel happy, you're not going to feel happy no more. You're going to go through withdrawal. You're going to end up spending a ton of money on this stuff in order to feel normal, because I guarantee you, this guy takes it enough. All of a sudden, he's going to find himself 15 pouches in a day and buying a second one. And now 16 and now 17. And you're going to have to come off that crap. So do you want to introduce this problem into your life? Do you want all the joy sucked out of your goddamn life for marginal gains? Marginal. Guys, I'm telling you, marginal. You're better off with an espresso shot. You're better off with your pre-workout. And honestly, if you could get away without that stuff, in my opinion, you should be getting away without that stuff. So at least when you use it, it does something. But nicotine is an extremely highly addictive substance, and it will suck the joy out of your life, and you won't even see it coming. So I hope you guys found value in this video. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. If you smoke, if you drink, if you do whatever, I don't care. I got nothing against you. I was asked to do this video. I was asked to discuss what this guy discussed, and here I am. All right, you guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all at the next video.